Welcome everyone to the video today. If you are a little confused on how to decorate your home this time of the year, you've come to the right place. This video today is going to give you over 90 DIY projects and decor pieces of what you can style in your home to freshen it up for the springtime season. This is a compilation video of some of my best DIY projects and home decor pieces. I hope you enjoy today's video. I hope you get lots of ideas and inspiration to decorate your home. One of the easiest things to refresh in your home is to change out your wall decor. And I've showed y'all in so many videos of how you can create very inexpensive wall decor and change it out for the seasons. In the next couple of projects, I'm going to give y'all some ideas and inspiration of how you can change out your wall decor and make some that's really inexpensive for springtime. I'm going to take this ice skate that I did for the winter season, and I'm going to take some of this scrapbook paper. I got a whole scrapbook from Goodwill for 50-something cents, and I love the patina on this paper. So I'm just going to cut my paper down to size, and using some good quality glue stick, I'm just going to apply it. I work in sections, and once I get it all on, then I'm going to go over it with a brayer just to smooth out any wrinkles or bubbles. Now, I absolutely love to decorate with rabbits, so I'm going to take this Iron Orchid Design rabbit stamp that I have, and I will link it down below, and I'm just going to use some black ink, apply it to the stamp really well, and then just lay it down on the paper. Now, once this dries really well, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit of wording down below using a stencil that I already had on hand. I'm just going to use part of the stencil because, like I say, I just wanted a little bit of wording down at the bottom. But if you had something that says rabbit in French, the L-A-P-I-N, I think that would be great too. But I did replace the frame. I thought the white frame was just a little bit too modern for this primitive looking rabbit, so I put him in a more rustic frame. Now these little Scrabble letters you can pick up at Dollar General in their craft section. You get a whole package of them, and so you can just add a little bit more detail to it using these little inexpensive Scrabble letters. Now I'm going to give you some more ideas for some frames. Now these were the ones that I got at a yard sale, and I paid $1.50 for them. I do want to use the white one since it didn't work out for my rabbit, but I'm just going to do the same thing. I used the back of my frame and put some scrapbook paper on it. Using my glue stick, I'm going to apply a stencil to this one, and I will have this stencil linked down below. I added some vintage inspired postcards that I made along with a vintage photo with some doilies, and now we've got a great vintage inspired piece that we can set out in our vignettes, and we can leave this out for spring, summer, or really just all year long. When I decorate my home, I really enjoy mixing the new with secondhand or upcycled projects. This is a new piece that I just received, and this is going to be linked to my Amazon store. I love metal tin signs, and this one I think is so appropriate for spring coming up. Now I'm going to show you another decor piece I just received from Amazon, and this is these beautiful chunky beads. Now I love a beaded garland, and I'm going to show you some ways of how we can style it, and it makes a great versatile piece that we can put out for spring and summer. I also got this really big glass bottle. It's got a really nice galvanized metal band on it. I come across this at Goodwill, and I only paid $1.99 for it. So I'm just going to now give you some styling tips on these really trendy glass bottles right now, and how you can style these in a vignette with some of this beaded garland.
You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others.
Now I'm going to give you some more ideas of some really inexpensive and fun DIY projects to work on that make great decor pieces. I've got these frames at a yard sale and I paid 50 cents each for them. I've got some new spring release transfers that I'm absolutely loving, and I'm going to link these down below. But you get 3 sheets of these. They're very affordable. They're all less than $20, but they've got some great colors this year, and I've been featuring them in my videos and using them on my projects. But I wanted to put something on these burlap little frames here, and these transfers work perfect. Both of these transfers, this one is from the Vintage Labels transfers. These are some of the older ones, but I have got 2 sets of these. I loved them so much, I got another set. But y'all, there are so many transfers included with these, so you get a lot of transfers for the money. But I'm just going to apply these. They kind of, to me, they scream flowers and gardening, and they just scream spring. So I added those to the burlap background of these frames, and transfers go on fabric very well. So now I'm just going to style these for you and just give you inspiration of ideas of how you can take some simple transfers, apply them to some frames, and we got some beautiful decor now that we can set out for spring and summer. Now I'm going to show you another decor piece that I scored at Goodwill, and y'all only paid 99 cents for this. Is this not the cutest little thing? And really, woven jars this year are really on trend. So all I'm going to do is add some Dollar Tree roses to this. I put a little hang tag on it. I made this in a previous video, and this just goes so well to set out now with all of our little bunnies and our rabbits. Another great decor piece that I recently picked up while out thrifting is this half cathedral. This makes a great accent piece to put on top of wall decor, or just in a place that you may need something just to add a little bit of texture and detail. I only paid $5.99 for it. I went over and freshened it up with some white chalk paint, and then I displayed this in my kitchen up under my open shelving. This piece right here was something I found at our old house up in the attic. So this was free to me. It was wood color, and through the years I have painted it and used it for different projects. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this beautiful transfer book right here, and I'll make sure to link it down below. I went over in my piece and I refreshed it with a couple of coats of white chalk paint. Since I'm working with 2 sheets out of the transfer book and I want them to line up evenly, I'm just going to cut the excess paper off each edge of the paper. Working with transfer sheets is really easy because they give you grid marks, so it's really easy to keep your sheets aligned. So I'm just going to get this lined up in the center of my piece, and basically what I'm making is just a shelf sitter type sign. But this is a large piece, but I think it would be beautiful with this transfer. Now I'm just going to apply a little bit of painter's tape at the top, make sure I've got my piece secured down. You want to remove the white backing and then just go over it with your application tool that they give you and just apply it. Once I get that side applied, I'm going to go over and do the same thing to the other side, making sure I've got it lined up to the one that I just put down. Now these sheets right here are absolutely beautiful, and I love this design. It's got some very pretty florals on it and some really pretty French writing. So I thought this made a great piece that I can set out now for spring and summertime. Alright, Let's make some more pretty spring decor. I'm going to take this gorgeous decoupage paper, and I'm going to have it linked down below, but it's called Zara. I've had it for a couple of years, and I did not know exactly what I wanted to put it on, but now I have decided. I have a couple of vintage windows that I got at an antique store, and a few years ago I Mod Podged some cow prints on them. Well, as you can see, over the years, those cow prints have yellowed, and now they need a refresh. This piece of decoupage paper is very large, and that's why I've kept it so long, because I needed the perfect piece to put it on, and this vintage window is going to be perfect. It fits in it really well. So this is more of a thick mesh type decoupage paper. It's not thin, so it actually works really well. But the first thing you want to do is press out any wrinkles, and now I'm going to show you how well it's going to fit in my window. The top and the bottom are going to fit perfect. I am going to have to trim some off the sides, but first I'm going to apply a liberal amount of DIY Liquid Patina, and as you can see, you always want to start out with a white background, especially if you have a decoupage paper you can see through. It just makes, if you have a white background, it makes your decoupage paper, the design on it, just pop with a white background. Now I'm going to go in, and you want to press it out and work it on your project as best you can, getting out any air bubbles or wrinkles. And I love using a brayer for this technique. Now once I got it laid down as good as I could and as flat as I could, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to score the edges and make a straight line, and then I'm going to trim that off. Once I got my edges trimmed down, I'm just going to work them down into those sides, just to work them in to where they will lay flat. And I'm just going to keep applying my DIY Liquid Patina as I need it. And like I say, you want to put liberal amounts on here just to make it stick really good and adhere to your base. Again, I'm just going to roll over it with my brayer and just keep flattening it out and working out those wrinkles. And I'm going to go over now and do the other side. And like I always tell y'all, when you work with decoupage paper, work in sections, and especially when you got a big project like this, do one side, get it down like you want it, and then go over and do the other side. I think this decoupage paper worked out perfect for this vintage window, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I love the colors in this, so make sure to go down to my description box. Get this decoupage paper, and especially if you've got some vintage windows or a large project you can put it on, it makes a beautiful design for spring and summer. Okay, y'all, I hope y'all liked that first window project, because we're going to do another one. I had two vintage windows that I put those cow pictures on, but on this one, I'm going to use a transfer. Now, this is a very large transfer, and I used part of it in a fall DIY project, so I've got some of this transfer left over, and it's going to work perfect on this window. First thing I want to do is I want to prepare it, because I'm going to paint it on the back, and then I'm going to put the transfer on the front of the glass. I'm just using some window cleaner and the razor blade that I got linked in my Amazon store. Once I got the glass clean, then I just sprayed some Rust-Oleum flat white spray paint on the back of the glass. Now you can spray paint the glass, or you can use a brush and brush it on. You will need to put enough layers of paint on that glass that it is not, you can't see through it when you put it up in the light, and it's not transparent. Once you've got a good paint coverage on the back of your glass, now on the front of the glass we want to add our transfer. And like I told y'all, this is part of that really big transfer. I used the top part with a little pickup truck on a fall DIY project, and this didn't fit, but I'm glad it didn't, because it works perfect now to make a really great spring wall decor piece. Since this transfer was so large, I decided to cut it up and work with it in sections, but this is totally up to you. But a lot of times when I have a large transfer, if I cut it in sections and work that way, it's easier. Just make sure you align your sections back together, and that way once you apply them, they will all line up. But to me, like I say, this is the easiest way, but you can do it all in one piece if you prefer. Now, transfers apply to glass really well, so this transfer went on really good. And like I say, just be patient with it and just work it in sections, and now you've got a beautiful piece to display for spring and summer.
wish you could see yourself. You're sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you. You don't even know.
Another fun project that I made, and this is so inexpensive. You just want to get a wreath form from Dollar Tree or maybe Dollar General or Walmart, and you just want to poke holes in it with a pencil. I'm using some hydrangea heads. These I have linked in my Amazon store, and I've got them in 3 colors. I've got some more coming on the way. I've already ordered 30 more because I'm going to make some more wreaths and some more spring decor out of them. But these are beautiful. So you don't need the stems on these. Just poke a hole with a pencil. Go around the wreath form. Secure those in the little holes with a little bit of hot glue. And on mine, I am transitioning mine. I'm doing 2 different colors, and I'm making a little two-tone. Now, I ran out of the one that's kind of the cream color. So you can see in the upper right hand, there is one that's a little bit darker. I have some more coming, so I will replace it as soon as they arrive. But I'm just still wanting to bring this idea along to y'all. This wreath right here probably didn't take me more than 5 to 10 minutes to make. So easy to make, and it's so budget friendly.
Of when we used to dance, but now I don't know where you are. I missed you so bad, won't you come back to me?
Another fun and unique project to work on is vintage clocks. I love to make and go on Pinterest and look at altered vintage clocks. You basically just want to take an old clock, and I got a whole box at a yard sale for $2. I went through them, and I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to give you an idea of how you can take all the things out of the clock. You just kind of want to gut it, and you just want to go around and unscrew everything that you can, and that way you can get the back off of it, and then you can get the insides out. And that's what I did with this one. After I removed the legs, I really didn't have to, so one leg I took off, and the other one I just left on. Now I'm just going to lift that part out. I'm not going to use it. You could if you wanted to. You can really do this little clock any way you want to. But I'm just going to clean it up really good. I'm going to apply some white linen chalk paint. I put a couple of layers on it. Once it dries, now I'm going to take the back of the clock. I'm going to trace around on a piece of poster board. I'm going to cut out a circle. Because what we're going to want to do is we're going to take a glue stick, and we're going to glue this onto the surface of the back of that clock. Since it's got, an indentation in the center, I want the top of this to be flat. Because I'm going to take a piece of decoupage paper, and I want to apply it to this circle. Now this decoupage paper I'll have linked down below. I'll give you a website of where I get all of mine. But I had originally was going to work on a different project with it, so that's why it's cut in a circle. But I think it'll fit fine on this project, and it's got a little bit of florals there on the side. And then I'm going to go in the center of it, and I'm going to add a transfer. Now I'm going to put all the transfers that I use in today's video. I'll put those down in the description. But I always have transfers on hand, and it's a great way to really add another detail to your projects. Now I went around with a sanding block, and I just smoothed out the edges of the back of my clock. Now I'm going to apply this transfer just to give it a little bit more detail, and then we'll put it back on the clock. Now when you get this on the back of your clock, and you've got this now to work with, now this is where you can have fun with this. You can put mixed media in your clock. You can put bird nest. You can take Easter eggs, little rabbits. You can really theme this little clock any way you want to. You can put a bow on the top, but I'm taking some little flowers that I got at Hobby Lobby on the wedding aisle. I'm just applying those with a little bit of hot glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of Easter grass in it, trim it up, and I'm just going to put 3 little eggs in it. Just giving you ideas of how you can upcycle and make great little projects out of old clocks. Now before I install the clock, I'm going to show you a couple of pieces that I found at the thrift store. Now the times that I find Easter or spring decor is not around this time of the year. It's usually in the fall and Christmas time. But I did pick these up a few months ago, and I'm glad I did. Because this time of the year, that's when people are going to be looking at the thrift store for this type stuff. So always throughout the year, look for your different seasons. Even though it's not that season, just be out looking for it. I just found that cute little rabbit planter. I put some little Dollar Tree roses in it. And then this cute little bunny right here was only 99 cents. And I thought he went so cute with my little vintage clock.
Wondering if you're thinking about me too. Now it's too late. Now it's too late. I'm out of time, but I'm still thinking of you. My heart keeps on bleeding. I have scars, the ones that healing. They're all there because of you. It's my fault.
To make some bottle brush carrots. Now, I saw the inspiration for this over on Instagram. I'm going to make mine a little bit different. So make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms because I upload over there about daily. But I do Goodwill videos and a lot of thrift hauls. So here's how I found these bottle brush trees. Here's something to look for when you're on the Christmas aisle at the thrift store. When spring's about to happen and you're not really wanting to look at Christmas stuff, pick these up because we can make a DIY out of these for springtime. So I'm going to pick these two up right here because I've already packed the ones that I had up for Christmas and they're in my storage unit. But I'm going to get these two and I'm going to be doing a DIY with these coming up. So y'all stay tuned for that. So as y'all can see, I got these at the thrift store since mine were already packed up. So if yours are packed up like mine, look at the thrift store on the Christmas aisle. You can still get some at a good price. I bought these on Blue Tag Day, so that means they were half off. So I got them both for $4. I'm going to take some rustic orange spray paint, but you can use any kind of spray paint that you want. There is another color orange that they sell at Walmart, but it's going to have a glossy finish to it. These trees weren't hard to paint, but they did require a couple to 3 coats. You want to put a layer on, let it dry really good, and then go out and apply another layer. Now, once I got them the way I wanted them, now I'm going to get Ben to help me break off the stems. They're not hard, and actually we just did it with some clippers. You basically, if you just score it, the little wire, and then bend it, it'll come right off. So I left a little bit on it because I want to attach some greenery to them and make some carrot stems. Now I'm using a garland that I got at Hobby Lobby, but you can use whatever you want for your stems. Now I'm just going to cut off a few of these and then I'm going to size them down to fit the tops of my carrots. You know, I just used as many as I felt like would make a full, little greenery head for my carrot, and then I'm going to tie it on and use a piece of twine. Now I'm going to wrap the twine around. I'm just going to go around and kind of twist it because I'm just going to leave that twine on mine as an embellishment. But you could also tie it around with the twine, and once you get done, you could also add a really pretty piece of ripped fabric or a ribbon. These little bottle brush carrots are so fun to make, and you can also make these in all sizes because bottle brush trees come in all sizes. So just take what you have, or like I say, if you don't have any bottle brush trees that you can get to if they're already stored up, make sure to check the yard sales this summer or your local thrift stores. Now, if y'all have followed my channel very long, y'all know I love to make projects out of scrap wood because I have a lot of it around my home. But if you do not have access to scrap wood, no worries. Always look at the thrift store because I'm always coming across great project pieces at the thrift store that are very inexpensive. This big chunk of wood right here was only 99 cents, and a lot of times somebody's already painted it for you and they've already added an embellishment. So that's another great way that you can get scrap wood pieces. Look at yard sales and thrift stores. Now, I love to support small businesses, and Etsy is one of my favorite places. You can shop for so many really cute home decor pieces, but I love to go out and purchase downloads that they will send to my email. I download them onto my computer and I can print them out as many times as I want to. This was a little 8x10 rabbit, and I love the little grain sack stripe on it. So I'm just going to apply it to the front of this little piece of wood. I'm not even going to repaint it. I love the color that it is already, and I'm just applying it in sections using my DIY Liquid Patina, and then I roll over with a brayer to ensure that all the wrinkles and the bubbles are worked out. I'm going to go around the edges. I'm just going to go around with some sandpaper just to make that paper look like it is, you know, made on into that wood. And these make great little shelf sitters. You can also put these in your baskets for filler. So with just a 99-cent piece of wood that we got at the thrift store and a very inexpensive download, well, now we've got a great piece that we can set out for springtime. Now, once I made that little bunny, I thought he needed some friends. So I went out and I purchased a few more. Now, you got 6 of these, and they actually come in 2 different sizes. When she emails them to you, you get 2 different size options. So I'm just going through my supplies. I'm just taking little scrap pieces of wood that I have. That's just a 2x4, and then I've painted it. I think I did some pumpkins with it for the fall. But like I always tell y'all, you can always flip your projects over and do the other side, or you can just paint over it and keep using them and refresh them for each season. So I'm just cutting these little cute little bunnies out, and again, I'm just applying them onto my wood pieces using Liquid Patina. Now, I love this bunny. He's an 8x10. We can also frame him, but I'm going to show you another way of how you can just take a simple piece of scrap wood, and like I say, make sure to look at the thrift stores, because I find a lot of scrap wood pieces, like I say, people have donated them because they've made projects out of them and they get tired of them and then they donate them. So again, I'm just going to apply him to my block of wood, and that's all I'm going to do. And like I say, these make great, inexpensive, fun pieces to work on that we can add to baskets. We can set out with our florals for the spring and the summertime. And I love to decorate with bunnies all year long. So, you know, this piece right here, I can set up in my home and use it throughout the year. Now, once you get your bunnies made, you can add embellishments to them. You can add twine, wrap twine around them. You can add bows, lace, ribbons, whatever you want to add to them. I left him just like he was, and you'll see it when I stage him. I found another piece of scrap wood. I'd made a project with this, and I just flipped it over. I'm just going to apply some white paint, paint it up, and then I'm just going to add another one of these little cute rabbits. These right here, like I say, you get 6 different designs on these. These were so cute. So I just applied it to another little piece of scrap wood I had, rolled it out with the brayer, and now I've got a whole little collection of cute little bunnies that I can set out for the springtime. The next project is going to be a fun one, and this is a Dollar Tree Crafter's Square. This is just one of those little wood plaque blanks. These make great project pieces. I always have these on hand. I'm just going to paint it white with a couple layers of chalk paint, and then I'm going to take this really cute lamb transfer that I have. Now I'm going to leave these transfers linked down below, but these, you get 3 sheets, and they've got some really cute little farmhouse animals and these little sweet little lambs and some bunnies on them. So I'll link them down below, but these are so cute. Now we've got a cute little plaque. Now you can drill some holes in this, add a little wire hanger. You can hot glue a little ribbon, some little ribbon ties on it, tie it around your baskets. You can put this in your wreaths. Now I'm going to show y'all just a really fun and easy way that we can make some cute little eggs that you can just set around. These are great little project pieces, and they're fun to make. And like I told y'all, I try not to waste anything. This is a sheet of decoupage paper that I had left over from a previous project, and I'll try to link I'll link the website of where I get all my decoupage paper from. But decoupage paper goes a long way, and usually you can get a sheet for a little over $3. But you can make a lot of projects out of them. So I'm just taking pieces of the decoupage paper and these little wooden eggs. I'm sure these probably come in a pack from Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure where I got them. I may have picked these up actually at a yard sale. But anyway, just some little wood eggs. And I know you can probably find things similar to this at Dollar Tree. But I'm just taking liquid patina and I'm going around and I'm just applying this leftover decoupage paper to some assorted sizes of these little eggs. Once the liquid patina dried, I'm just going to go around each one with a sanding block, and I'm going to remove all the excess paper and smooth around the edges. I forgot to mention, I went over my eggs with a little bit of white chalk paint, because like I told y'all, anytime you use decoupage paper, it's always best to use a white background because your decoupage paper will just pop. So I'm just going to add these to a little teacup with some Easter grass, and that's all I'm going to do to these. But like I say, such an easy little project, but this is fun and just gives you some little sweet little eggs to set around in your spring vignettes. Another item that is a great decor piece to upcycle is little wood crates. Now this one I got at Dollar General at the end of the season, so I think it was like 90% off. I only got it for like maybe $1 or less. And pick up a couple of those little wood paddles at Dollar General with the holes in the handle, and they're $1. And you're going to need a wooden dowel. Now I just went over and painted my little crate. And a lot of times you can find little crate wood boxes at the thrift store too. But if you want to put a handle on yours, like mine did not have a handle, but just to dress it up a little bit, you can use these little wooden paddle spoons that have the holes in the handles. You can use these to make a handle for your crate. I'm just using hot glue, but you could also use wood glue if you want a more secure fit. I a lot of times take my projects apart, but I did too, since I'm doing this for the first time. I use hot glue in case I needed to adjust my spoons once I put them in. But you can see that dowel I use, and I will try to link the size of dowel that I use. It was just the right length, and it also fit through that hole perfectly, so I didn't have to cut anything. Now I went over my little crate, I chalk painted the whole thing, and now I'm going to add this really pretty transfer to the front of it, because what we're going to do is we're just going to make a cute little flower box. Now we'll have this transfer also linked down below, but just a little very inexpensive item that you can pick up and you can just dress it up, and now we've got a cute little flower crate. I've got this at a thrift store, and I think I paid like $1 for it. It's got 3 little compartments in it, so it'll be great to put some florals in it or some bottles. You can see on one side it had a little chalkboard. This was a Hobby Lobby piece, but I'm going to paint the whole thing white with some Rust-Oleum white linen chalk paint. I went over it with a couple of coats. Now on the smooth side where it had the little chalkboard, I'm going to use some beautiful decoupage paper. I'm going to have a link down below to the website where I get a lot of my decoupage paper. But this is very budget friendly. I think a lot of times you can get a sheet of decoupage paper for about $3 to $5, and a sheet will go a long way. Because I've showed y'all in several videos in different projects of how you can really piece together decoupage paper. It's very user friendly. But I'm going to take 2 halves of this. I love these little birds and these little florals, and I'm going to cut this little section out, and I'm going to put it on half of the front of the crate. Once I play it, then I'm going to cut another half, and I'm going to piece them together in the center, and you'll never know they've been pieced together. Now do the same thing to the other side. I'm just going to go around and score it with my fingers, and you can also go around and trace with a pencil. Once you get it traced out, then you just want to cut off the excess paper, lay your design down, get it placed where you want it, and once you do, then it's ready to apply. Now to apply the paper, I'm going to work in sections and I'm going to use DIY Liquid Patina. You can also use Mod Podge or whatever decoupage medium you have on hand. Now once I got it on the little crate, I went over the top of it with another, layer of Liquid Patina. I went over it and rolled out the wrinkles with my brayer, and then I'm just going around the edges, giving a little distressing with a little sandpaper. Now we've got a cute little crate that we can dress up for spring and summer. Now this project I got at America's Thrift Store, and I just recently shopped for this and got it, and I love the sign. It was $5.99, but I think I can do it to suit my home a little bit better. I took the back off of it, and I'm going to flip it around and use the back, because the back was just a plain little press board. It didn't have the graphic on it, and I painted it white with some chalk paint. Now I'm going to put it back in the frame, and now we're going to have a great background. I'm just using a little bit of hot glue in the corners and along the sides so it'll stay in really good. So I'm going to put that back in the frame, and once I get it in there, I'm going to show y'all some beautiful bunnies that I got last year on Amazon, but I'm going to check and make sure they still have them, and these will be in my Amazon store. But I ordered a couple of these last year, and I did a few projects last year with these, but I absolutely loved them, and I had this one left over, so he's going to make a great little piece to put on this sign. Now, he is more of a sticker than a transfer. The transfers we put on with a, little scraping tool. This is more like a sticker. So you want to very carefully remove the back, and I tried to do that without moving my decal, but it did not work. So anyway, I'm just going to be very careful. I'm going to try to center it back up to where I need it, and once he gets on there, then you want to go in and you want to press him down really good to where he doesn't have any wrinkles. Now, y'all know I love to use my brayer, so I'm just going to roll over him a few times with my brayer, and he went on really well. So now we got a cute little bunny picture that we can set out for springtime. Now, if y'all have watched my channel very long, y'all know I love to upcycle projects. And these little pots I did last year, and I put some transfers on them. Well, I'm going to flip them around, and now I'm going to use this beautiful little bunny decoupage paper I just received. I love decoupage paper. It is so fun to use, and once you get started working on projects with it, you can't stop. Now I'm going to cut out a few that I feel like will fit on the little pots the best, and once I got to cutting them out, I just kind of placed them on there and decided which bunnies I wanted to use. A lot of them looked good, but I went on and went with the ones that had more of like a little garland ring around them or a little wreath. This one I left just like it was because it was sized really well. These were a little bit bigger, so I cut these down. And how I did that was I cut the little design in half. I folded it, and then I just went in on the sides and I cut through. And once I cut through and got where I wanted it, now I'm going to go in, and you want to cut out as much of that white paper off your design as you can get. Because anytime you use decoupage paper, if you've got like this white around it, the more of it you cut off, the better it's going to look. But a lot of times on a white background, it's not real noticeable. So, this is really, your personal preference. But I went around it and I cut as much off as I could. And now again, I'm going to use some DIY Liquid Patina, and I'm going to apply all my little cute bunnies to the front of my little flower pots. Now, once I get these finished and I get them all applied, then, now we can decorate these little pots with so many little things for spring. I'm going to put some little grocery bags in them, and then I'm going to put some Easter grass, and I'm going to fill them up with some bunnies and some carrots. Hope y'all are enjoying the video so far, and if you are, make sure to hit that like button. Now I'm going to take a little bunny that I got at Dollar General, and he was $1. Now, a lot of times Dollar General, their decor now is cheaper than Dollar Tree, but they always have some really cute stuff around all the seasons. So I picked him up, and now I'm going to use another piece of decoupage paper, and like I say, I'll have the decoupage paper linked down below. Now I'm going to use the back of the bunny. I painted him white, because a lot of times when you use decoupage paper, you want to start out with a white background just to make your decoupage paper pop. Now these little squares will not fit the whole size of my bunny, so I'm going to use 2 of them. I'm going to place them on my bunny, and I'm going to do half and half. Now I'm using DIY Liquid Patina to apply each section, and I'm going to put the little floral, little shabby chic up at the top around to his neck, and then from his neck down below, I'm going to put this little floral print. I thought these little patterns coordinated so well together, and it really gave this little bunny a little shabby chic look. Now I put the both sections down, I let it dry, and once it dries, go around and cut off your excess paper, then take a piece of sandpaper, go around the edges of your project, sand it off, remove the paper, and smooth your edges. Now for those hard to get places, you can always use a nail file. A lot of times you can get these at Dollar Tree, very inexpensive, and they make great tools to work on our projects with. I just went and tied the little twine and the little Easter tag back around its neck, and now we got a cute little shabby chic rabbit that we can set out in our spring vignettes. Well, we got this cute little bunny decoupage paper out, and I've already got some of these little bunnies cut out. I'm going to use this little Thrifted. It's some kind of little ceramic jar that I got for 99 cents. It's white. It's kind of like a little mini crock. But I thought it would be really cute to decoupage one of these little rabbits on it. And then this would make a great piece that we can put some really pretty little baby's breath or some kind of little florals or greenery that we can set out in our vignettes just to add a little bit more of that little spring detail. Another fun piece of decoupage paper I've recently received is this little sheet of baby animals. Now, I'm not sure how many is on this, but y'all, you get a lot of little baby animals, and they are absolutely precious. You get different sizes of some little goats, lambs, little rabbits. So I'm going to take this one. He's a good size, and I'm just going to get a scrap piece of wood. Y'all know I love to work on scrap pieces of wood, and I always have these laying around. This one I'd already painted white and distressed it, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to apply one of these little bunnies using some DIY Liquid Patina to just a piece of scrap wood, and then we've got a great little shelf sitter, and you can also put this in your baskets and set these out for spring. Just everywhere you have like a little vignette, you can put one of these little wood scrap bunnies in it, and it just adds just the sweetest little detail. Because I don't know about y'all, but I absolutely love rabbits. I love bunnies, so I cannot have too many throughout my home. The next project is a fun one, and we're going to use again a piece of scrap wood. Now I'm going to leave the wood just like it is. Now I went out and I downloaded a free bunny printable, and then I just cut him out on a piece of like cardstock. And then I'm just going to lay him down on this piece of wood, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and stencil around him in white. Because what I want is I don't want any paint to go up under my bunny. So when I lift him up, I want him to be wood color. So what I'm trying to accomplish is I'm trying to get everything around him painted white, and that's why I use my stencil brush around him. That way, if I used a brush, it wouldn't get up underneath it. And if you do get some paint on it, you can always go around with some sandpaper and sand down the paint. Now I'm just going to take a little piece of twine and a little bit of hot glue, and I'm just going to give him a little twine bow. And you can also give him a little pom-pom tail. You can just take a pom-pom, whatever you have. I had some that were a little bit larger, so I just cut my little pom-pom down to size. But you could also take a little hot glue and stick on and give him a little pom-pom tail. Now we've got another cute little bunny shelf sitter that we can set out with all of our other little spring decor we've made. Another really easy project, and we're also going to use another piece of scrap wood. And like I told y'all in my last video, you can find scrap wood pieces a lot of times at the thrift store. They're project pieces that some people may have already started, but they'll donate them. So a lot of times you can get pieces like this at the thrift store very inexpensive. I just painted my piece of wood white, and I took that same sheet of the little baby animal decoupage paper. I cut this one out, and I just applied him using some liquid patina, and now what a cute little bunny shelf sitter we have. You can also drill some holes in him and put a little wire hanger on him. Now I took some more thrifted items that I had in my supplies. I picked these up sometime last year. I got these at the thrift store, and I paid 99 cents each. Now they didn't spell anything, but I got all they had, and I think they had 5. So I'm going to take, a few of these, and I'm going to paint them all white, and then I'm going to put decoupage paper on these. These are like little squares of like 2x4s. They're probably like a 2x2, but these just make great little shelf sitters, and the thickness of these are perfect. So I'm taking these little chicks off that little baby animal big sheet of decoupage paper that I showed you earlier in a project. And then I'm going to take a couple little graphics off this sheet. And like I told y'all, I'm going to have all the decoupage paper and products that I use in today's video. I'll have them all linked down in my description box. But I'm going to take these cute little chickens because we did the other one in a chicken, and I love the little chicken on this one. So I'm just going to apply it to this little piece of scrap wood. I'm going to roll it out with my brayer just to get out any wrinkles or bubbles. You let it dry, and then once you let it dry, then you'll go around and sand it. Now I'm going to use these little eggs, and I'm going to have to piece this together. I used another part of this decoupage paper on another project, and you'll see it in next week's video. But y'all know I do not waste anything, especially decoupage paper. And like I've told y'all, it's very user-friendly, and you can piece it together, and you'll never know. So that's what I did on this. Up there in the corner where it didn't have enough paper to go across my wood, I just kind of pieced in a piece. And like I say, you'll never know. So now that all my liquid patina is dry on my designs, now I'm just going around. I'm going to sand each piece of the wood, just smooth out the edges, remove any of the excess paper. And now we got some really cute little blocks that we can set out for spring and summer. In this project, I'm going to show you how we can take some Dollar Tree trays and transform them into some really cute spring decor. For $1.25, you can't beat the price of this project. I'm also going to take this decoupage paper, and I'm going to have a link for it down below. But it is only $6.95, and you get 20 designs on it. I cut out these sweet little chickens, and I'm going to use some DIY liquid patina. I'm going to go over the back of the chickens, and also I'm going to put some liquid patina on the tray. Now I'm going to center it up. I'm going to apply them. I'm going to push them down really good to where there's no air bubbles, and also I'm going to go over it with my brayer. Once I get it down really good and I've got all the bubbles worked out, then I'm going to go over it again with another coat of liquid patina and let it dry. Now the little square tray, I'm also going to do a cute little chicken on it. This decoupage paper has so many cute little animals on it. I have used this on so many projects, but I'm going to do the same thing. I cut out my little chickens. These I think are more ducks. This is probably like more of a mama duck and a little baby duck. But I'm just going to apply them separately. I did the same thing. I just applied them using liquid patina. I went over them with a brayer, and now I'm sealing the whole thing with the liquid patina. Here's another project using a Dollar Tree tray. Now this one is over in the catering section, and this one is gold, and it's got that, beaded edge to it. All I'm doing to these trays is I just spray paint them white. I took them outside and I used Rust-Oleum flat white. I'm going to do the same thing on this. I'm going to use the same sheet of decoupage paper with the little baby animals, and I'm going to put these cute little cows on this tray. I'm going to create a tray that's more of a rustic farmhouse look, but you can use any of the little animals that you want and just get creative with your trays. You can put any design that you want on them. Again, I just went and I adhered them with the liquid patina. I'll go over them really well with a brayer to work out any wrinkles or air bubbles, and then once they get applied really well, then I'm going to go over them again with another coat of liquid patina and seal them in, let them dry, and now we got some cute little trays to set up throughout our home. This is not just spring decor. This decor right here can be left out all year long. Now I'm going to take a couple of thrifted mirrors. And now a lot of times too, you can find little things like this at the dollar store. But when you pick up little mirrors, I'm going to show you an easy way of how we can transform it and make some really pretty shelf sitters. I just painted the inside of the mirror white, and I'm going to use this sheet of decoupage paper, and I'll also have it linked down below. But I thought this little bunny right here would fit in the center of this mirror perfect. I got a set of 2 of these mirrors. I'm going to leave the mirror just like it is. I love the gold, but I just went around, traced around with a pencil to get my bunny to fit down in there the best I could. I cut it out, and then I'm going to apply him to the mirror using some liquid patina. Now, a lot of times, if you don't want to paint your background white, it's optional. But I always like to do this step because it really makes your decoupage paper look brighter. And that way, giving it a white background, it really shows up good. And again, I just went over it with my brayer, worked out any air bubbles, and now we got a great piece. Now I'm going to use another sheet of decoupage paper I've just received. I love this decoupage paper. I'm going to have it, like I say, linked down below. They've got a website of a lot of DIY products, and they've got a ton of decoupage paper, so I know you will just enjoy shopping their website. I know I do. Now the same thing, I just went around and traced it inside my mirror just to get it to fit the best I could, and I cut it out. Now we've got some really pretty pieces that we can set out in baskets, and also, you know, you can set these up on shelves or put these on your vanity. The next project is going to be a thrift flip. Now, I got this recently at a thrift store, and I paid $4.99 for it. It's pretty the way it is. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the design in the center. So I'm just going to, like I told y'all, I'm going to paint that little part white. And it was really easy just to go around that little square, give it a couple of coats of white chalk paint. Once I've got that done, I'm going to take another piece of the decoupage paper, and this right here fit perfectly in that little square. I cut it down to size, and then I'm just going to apply it right here with the liquid patina, and that's all we'll have to do to this project. Now I'm going to show y'all a fun project. Now I upcycled this little coffee bar sign around Christmas time, and I put this decoupage paper on that side. Y'all know I love to do both sides of a project. That way you can flip it around. So now I'm going to work on this side. I just painted it with some white chalk paint. And y'all, I want to show y'all this brand new mesh stencil I just received. I love this, and here's some ideas on the website of some things that you can do with this stencil. And y'all, I want to try all of these. This is a beautiful stencil. It's big, and it's got, you know, some really pretty French writing on it. It's got the bunny with this little wreath around it, so it's going to be perfect for spring and summertime projects. So make sure anytime you're using a mesh stencil, you want to put it down onto your project, and you want to make sure you work it out really good to where it doesn't have any air bubbles in it. Make sure it's laying flat to your surface. And then I just apply mine using a little silicone pad, and I'll also have this little pad linked below. And I'm using elephant gray chalk paint, and that is all I did. You just scrape your little scraper across the mesh stencil, and it is that easy to get your design to go on your project.
Every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo.
I hope y'all are enjoying the video so far, and if you are, make sure to hit that like button for me. Y'all, this is a fun project, and I'm excited to bring it to you, but we're going to make some cute little bunny eared napkin rings, and all you're going to need is a toilet paper roll, or you can just cut a strip of cardboard poster board. All I did was I cut mine with my Cricut straight cutter, and then I just get it to where it will fit my napkin, so you can make these any size you want to. Once you get it the size you want it, then I'm just going to glue it off, and then I'll trim off that little tail. And like I say, a toilet paper roll or a paper towel roll will work too. You can just cut them off and cut as many as you need. So once I got it glued together, there's my little band. You do want to make sure you use something that's cardboard colored, because we're going to use burlap and you'll be able to see through it. So now I'm just going to take this burlap. I got this at Dollar General, but it's got really smooth edges. So the one smooth edge, I'm just going to glue around the top of this little ring, and I'm going to go all the way around with my hot glue and get it secured down really well. Now I'm going to secure it on the back really well where it meets. You just want to glue both the little ends down onto each other, and then we'll have that done. Now just trim the excess off, and now we're going to work on the little end that's a little bit longer. And what you're going to want to do once you get it to this point is we're going to cut little slits, because what we want to do is we want to work that burlap into the roll. So if you cut slits, it will make it go up in there a lot smoother. So I'm just going around randomly with my scissors, and I'm just going to kind of cut some little slits in it. And then with some hot glue, we're just going to go in, put a little hot glue on their burlap, and just fold it down and let it dry. And that's all you have to do. And once you get it worked around that whole little roll, that is our napkin ring basically. So it's cute, just like it is. But we're going to add some cute little bunny ears to it just to give it a little bit of springtime flair. So now, once we get that done, I'm going to take that same burlap and we're going to make the ears. The ears are really easy to make. You just want to take some twine, and I'm using some twine that's a little bit thicker. It's not the thickest and it's not the thinnest, but you can use whatever twine that you want or you have on hand. But really, with your hot glue gun, you just really want to just hot glue a shape of a bunny ear. You can make them as long or as wide or as short or whatever you want. Once I got one done, then I'm just going to put it beside it just so I can kind of get them the same size so they'll be the same height. And like I say, your ears do not have to be perfect because mine weren't, but just put a little bit of hot glue down in the shape of an ear, and then just roll your twine down on it, press it down, and let it dry. Don't burn yourself. And then I went around the little ears and I trimmed off as much of the burlap around the twine as I could, and then you'll want to trim those little tails off at the end also. And once you get them cut out, now we're just going to glue them. We're going to kind of scrunch them up at the bottom and glue them together just to make them look like an ear. And you just want to add a little bit of glue down there at the bottom and join them together, hold it, let it dry, and now we got a little bunny ear. Look how cute. We're going to do the same thing to this one, and once you get both of them kind of scrunched up to look like a little bunny ear, now we're going to glue them together. And to do that, we're just going to put a little hot glue in between them, push them together, and now they're secure. Now we're going to attach them to the top of the napkin ring, and that's where it, I hot glued it, so we want that to the bottom. This will be the top. Now just put a good amount of hot glue, stick your little ears down there, let them dry, and now you can embellish it any way you want to. You can tie a little twine bow up there. You can use any kind of ribbon that you want. This right here, I want to say I got this on Amazon, and I'll have it linked in my store, but you get a lot of ribbon on a roll, and I love this ribbon. But I'm just going to tie a cute little bow, and that's all there is to it. You add your napkins, and now we got a great little napkin ring that is so cute and unique that we can set out for our tablescapes for spring and Easter. I love to make little hang tags to hang on my seasonal decor. Now, I purchased some little downloads from Etsy, and you got 6. You got 2 to a sheet, and you got 4 sheets. So I'm going to take one of these, and I'm just going to apply it to the back of a little Dollar General hang tag. Now, you can get hang tags at Dollar Tree or Dollar General. Dollar General, they're still $1. This one I bought around Christmas time, but it was a perfect size for these little Etsy downloads. Now, the little Etsy downloads are very inexpensive. I think they were like $3 or $4. And, they send them straight to your computer as soon as you purchase them. And then you just print them out on I have an inkjet printer. I just print them out. And then, you have them on your computer so you can use them as many times as you want to. And there's so many projects you can do with these. Now, I just applied it using some Liquid Patina. I went over it with my brayer and I sanded off the edges. And now to make that little hole a little bit bigger, I used my pliers, and I'm going to put some ribbon through it to give it a really pretty hanger. Now once I got the hanger on it, now there is so many things that we can use this little hang tag on just to add just another little detail to our spring and our summer vignettes.
Let us lose ourselves in a fairy tale. Who can say what's wrong or right? We're the only ones who can decide. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could stay or we could leave.
Now I'm going to show y'all a project that it possibly could be free, depending on what kind of background you use, but we're going to make some hammered flowers. You basically just want to take some flowers, whatever you have growing in your yard right now. Right now we don't have a lot, but I just went out and kind of picked a few things that I saw that was coming up. And I know later on in spring there'll be some prettier ones, and I want to make more of these. But just pick your flowers, and I'm just using my background is something that a sweet viewer sent me a while back, and it's just a little piece of some kind of, I don't know what it is. It's not drop cloth, and it's not really muslin. It's kind of like a little thicker type fabric. But I just placed my flowers on there, and I cut them down. I cut some of the leaves off and just kind of placed them how I thought they would be pretty. You just put a piece of parchment paper over them, and you just go over them with a hammer. You just want to hammer them down until you've got them mashed down really well, and then you want to lift up all of that little flower goo. You want to remove all of that. It will dry, and once it dries, then you've got the impression and the colors of those florals. And this right here, y'all, just amazed me. So just another little fun project that I think will be a lot of fun once we get some more really pretty flowers growing outside. I hope y'all will try these little hammered flowers. Now, if you have a pretty frame on hand, you can also frame this. I thought this would be pretty for the background of a little, I don't know, a little grapevine wreath, and I had some of these on hand. So I'm just going to apply some hot glue to the back of it. I pressed it down really good, and then I'll go around and make sure to cut off the excess. So, and also I put a little twine hanger on the little grapevine wreath before I glued it. I'm going to add a little ripped fabric bow at the bottom, and this little project is finished. I can't wait for spring to come, and I can't wait for some more flowers to come up outside so I can make some more of these. And like I told y'all, if y'all make some, make sure to send me a picture of them over on Instagram and tag me in it. I would love to see them. And I hope y'all have fun with this little project. If y'all have followed my channel and how I decorate for any time, you know that I love to upcycle projects. Because like I tell y'all a lot of times, most projects have two sides at least. So you can decorate and have fun with one side, you know, and decorate that and put it out in your home. And then you've also got another side you can flip around at some point and you can decorate it too. So that's what I'm going to do with this large cutting board. I put a beautiful mesh stencil on it. It was absolutely gorgeous on that side. But I have a new mesh stencil, and I'm going to have all of these products that I use in today's video linked down below for y'all. But this one is absolutely gorgeous. It's got the rabbit on it. It's got some really pretty greenery garland. It's got some French wording. I mean, what more could we ask for? I'm going to put the whole stencil on this side. Now, I just went over it with some white chalk paint, and I distressed it like I did the other side. And I will also have that mesh stencil on the other side linked down below too, because it's a really good one to have. And it's really good for some of those large pieces that you may need something for. Now, this is a lesson learned right here, that a mesh stencil can pull up your paint if you do not seal it first. And in my case, I did not seal it. But I'm okay with that because I love distress. But if you do not want a distress finish to yours, then make sure to seal it with either like Mod Podge, DIY Liquid Patina, or some kind of a top coat, and you should be fine. I'm going to take some beautiful decoupage paper, and I'm going to have an affiliate link down below of where I get all of my beautiful decoupage paper that I use. Now I'm going to take this little Dollar General little wooden blank. I love doing these little mason jars. These make great little project pieces, and I've done a few of these in the past. I'm just going to remove the little metal hanger, and then I'm going to sand down those little indentions where they had the staples. Now I'm going to go over it with some white linen chalk paint, and I'm going to chalk paint the whole thing with a couple of layers. Now I'm going to go in, I'm going to cut the border off my decoupage paper and just get it down to size, and then I'm going to start placing it on where, you know, I want my design to be. Once I get it placed where I feel like it's going to get most of that pretty floral section, then I'm just going to mark it off with a ruler around the little jar. Now I'm going to trim it down, and then I'm going to apply it. Now I'm going to leave the top where you can see it, but you could absolutely cover the whole thing with the decoupage paper if you prefer. Now using some DIY liquid patina, I'm going to do one section at a time. I've always told y'all when you're using decoupage paper, it's better to me and easier if you work in sections. I just do the bottom, I get it secured down, and then I do the top. Now I always like to go over and roll out my projects really well with a brayer. The brayer really adds, it just smooths it out and gives it a really good finish. It'll work out any of that excess glue to the sides and also work out any air bubbles and wrinkles. You always want to allow it to dry. Once it's dry, just go in with some sandpaper or a sanding block and just go around your edges, smooth them out, and remove any excess paper. Now I got Ben to take it outside because I want to add another little metal hanger to it, but I want some holes drilled in mine. Dollar General had them stapled on, but I'm just going to use that same wire that came with it. I straightened it out, and now I'm going to get Ben. He's got tougher fingers than me, and I'm going to get him just to make a little cute little rustic wire hanger for it. I'm going to tie a little bit of cream cotton twine around the top, and I got this at Dollar Tree, and then that just kind of adds a little bit of embellishment between the lid and the decoupage paper. I'm going to add a cute little loop bow, and y'all know I love to get these cute little flowers in the wedding section at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to apply a little hot glue and apply the little bow and the little flower, and now we got a great little piece that we can set out now for spring and summertime. I recently come across this piece at Goodwill, and I only paid $6.99 for it. It's a vintage ironing board, but somebody had already tried to work on it. They added some kind of a label to the bottom, and they had painted it, kind of whitewashed it, and distressed it a whole lot. Now, once I got it home and I got the legs untaped, they were broke. So I'm going to have Ben remove the base of it, and also this ironing board with that base, those legs, it was very heavy. So now I'm just going to use the top part of the ironing board. They make great project pieces, and you can do so many things with them. You can make signs out of them and absolutely put letters that say laundry on them, you know, hang them in your laundry room. But I'm going to do something a little bit different because y'all know I love the shabby chic farmhouse look. I applied a little bit of wood filler to the holes, and I sanded over them. This little ironing board's got a lot of little nooks and crannies in it, and I'm going to leave that. It just gives it more character and just shows, you know, its little rustic lifestyle. I went over it with a couple of layers of Rust-Oleum white linen chalk paint, and this is the layout I'm going for. I'm going to put a couple of transfers at the top and the bottom, and I'm also going to add some little hardware hooks. Now, these transfers I'll have linked in my Amazon store. These come actually, I think, 3 to 4 to a pack. So you get different designs in this package. But I'm just going to apply one to the bottom and also one to the top. The design on these transfers are absolutely beautiful, and to me, they are so springy and summery. So now I'm going to add some hardware to my ironing board. I got these from my friend Steven at his antique store. And then I'm going to also show you some ideas of how you can add wreaths to the ironing board, just to make it into a wreath holder. This is a beautiful wreath. I'm going to have it linked down below, but it's a candle ring or a wreath, so you can use it for different purposes. But now here is the board. I got Ben to help me apply the hardware, so I've got the little knobs on it. I can always take these off and put some little more hanger hooks on this, or, you know, just dress it up any way I want to. Another item that I love to upcycle is clipboards, and I've done several projects and videos on the Dollar Tree clipboards, but sometimes you can find clipboards out in the wild at the thrift store or at yard sales. I found this one for $1. So y'all, all I'm going to do is I'm going to chalk paint it white, and the hardest part of upcycling this clipboard was getting those stickers off. I removed them, and then I had to actually sand some of the little gummy part off. But once I got the stickers removed, I spray painted the little clip that was at the top, since it was metal, and then I went over the rest of it with some chalk paint, and then I went around and I distressed the edges. Again, I'm going to show y'all how we can use a mesh stencil and just upgrade our little clipboard just to give a little bit more character, and we can set it out and do so many things with it. You know, clipboards make great pieces. You can, you know, attach little vintage pictures or postcards. You know, you can lay flowers on it. You can just set it up in your vignettes, and it makes a great backdrop. But I'm going to apply again the little mesh stencil, and I'm only doing parts of it because all of it will not fit on my clipboard. And I used again the Waverly Elephant Gray chalk paint, and then I added a totally dazzled applique to the top of the clipboard just to add a little bit more detail to it. And now this is so pretty styled with pink florals. Again, I was telling y'all earlier in the video about my last video doing some Dollar Tree tray projects. And if you have these on hand, these make great pieces that are so inexpensive, but there's so many things you can do with them. But here's another idea. I did this in a live, so I already have this project finished. But all it is, I spray painted the tray white, and then I went over it with the little mesh stencil and applied the bunny. But just another idea for the Dollar Tree trays. That little bunny stencil, he fits perfect on them. Now I'm going to show y'all some beautiful decor I just received from Amazon. Y'all, this is a must-have basket. Y'all know the little black dress is a must-have, you know, fashion piece for our closet. Well, this is a must-have basket. There are so many things now we can do with this beautiful basket. I love to go on and purchase things and go on and review them and give y'all my honest opinion about them, the quality and, you know, the size, just so y'all know, you know, what to expect. Well, I was not disappointed with this basket at all. It's a really good size. And I also ordered these beautiful silk hydrangeas. You just apply the stems to them and you just fluff them out. And I got a couple of colors. And I also will have all of these products listed in my Amazon store. Now here, right here, was still a little bit of winter decor left. I had put that up for Christmas. I love this long shutter that's over by my front door. I just took it down, and I think this is going to be the perfect place to put this beautiful basket and add an assortment of beautiful florals in it. And I'm just going to give y'all some ideas of some different florals that I have linked in my Amazon store and just some of my favorites of how well they pair in this basket. I passed up a little wood crate. It's something I think nobody will ever say. Wood crates, if I find them, I pick them up. I don't care. I love upcycling little wood crates. This one right here is old. I think I paid $1. I paid $2.99 for it. Now I'm going to leave it just the way it is. A lot of times if you want to enjoy something, enjoy it, the wood color for a little while, and you can always go back later and paint it if you want to. I am going to add a little bit embellishment to the front. I've got this beautiful transfer, and like I told y'all, I'll have all these linked down below. I'm just going to add it, just add a little bit more detail to the front, and then we've got a great little wood crate that we can set out really any season throughout our home. We can use this all year long, just decorate it for the seasons. Another really inexpensive decor piece that I happened up on was at Dollar Tree, and these are the little carrot gift bags. Y'all, these you get 2 to a pack for $1.25, so that's very affordable. I'm not going to do anything to these. I think they're cute just like they are. All you need to do to these, you know, like I say, you can use them as gift bags and put little treats in them, or you can stuff them and just put them out in your vignettes and use them for some cute little carrot, decor. Now all you do is you just, bunch them up and tie the top, and that's all you do. These are so cute. So just a little item that I found at Dollar Tree, so you can be on the lookout for these. So while we're at Dollar Tree, let's do some eggs. And y'all know I love to stain flour sack cloth, and it's as easy as this. Get your flour sack cloth, just get a couple of tea bags and mix it with some water and just stain your cloth and let it dry. And then it's time to rip it in strips or do whatever you want to make your projects. And that's exactly what I do with this. And you can also use leftover coffee if you have some left from that morning. But I'm just going to take it, I ripped it in strips, and I'm just taking an egg. I've already done a DIY on this egg, but just showing you how many times you can, just keep working on your project pieces. Just keep, you don't have to go out and keep buying stuff. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. And as we go around with these strips, you just kind of want to twist it, as you go. You want to kind of make it look like it's a little bit of a rustic, torn, like little pleat. And you just keep working it around and apply hot glue as you go. Now you can use any kind of fabrics you want to for this project, to cover your eggs. I'm just using some things that are my favorite things to use and things that I already have on hand. And once you get to that little hole, I'm just going to leave that little hole on top. So if I want to put some kind of like little stem or ribbon hanging out, I can. I just went around and trimmed it. And now we've made a cute little egg using some flour sack cloth. And these just make cute little rustic farmhouse eggs. Now I'm going to take these little Dollar Tree eggs. These are going to be smaller, but you'll get 6 of these to a pack. And I'm just going to take one of these and show you how easy it is to upcycle them. Add a little bit of hot glue to get you started, and we're going to do the same thing. On this one, I used strips of drop cloth. I just ripped them, and there's no rhyme or reason of what size. You just want to do your strip small enough to where, it coordinates well with the size of your egg. And you can make as many of these as you want, fill these up in your dough bowls, and just makes great little filler pieces for your baskets and the little crate box. Again, just go around and trim it up, and we got some cute little unique eggs that we can set out. In this one, I'm going to show you how easy it is, if you've got twine on hand, how easy it is just to cover it and wrap it in twine. You'll just go around the same thing, and you'll just want to just go around and around with your twine until you get the egg covered. And once you get to the end, just trim off your end and secure it down with some hot glue. And now we've got another cute little rustic egg idea that we can set out. And like I say, I think coordinating them with the drop cloth and the rustic flower sack cloth and the twine, it just gives us different textures and different colors. Here's another quick idea for some unique eggs. This come from Dollar Tree. This had a clear top, and as y'all can see, I think I've upcycled this egg at least twice. But take those mop heads, pull out some of your mop strings. Dollar Tree mop heads make so many great project pieces. You can do so many things with these mop heads. But I just pulled out some strands and do the same thing. Just add your glue, get it started, and just keep going around in a circle around your egg, adding the hot glue as you need to, and add your strands as you go and you run out. And just keep going around and, you know, just make it as straight as you can. This project actually went a lot faster than it looks, but it don't take no time to cover these eggs. And now we got a huge egg. And you know, the egg was what, $1.25, and then you get a mop head for $1.25, and you get a lot of those mop strands. So we've still got some left over. And just go around and trim it up, or you know, glue in your ends really good just to give it a more polished and smooth look. And now we got some cute little eggs that were so much fun and easy to make. Right, are y'all still with me? I hope so. And if so, make sure to hit that like button, y'all. It really helps out my channel. Now I'm going to show y'all a really quick and fun project. Take your wreath, any wreath you want to. I've got some little lavender wreaths. I think I got these at Hobby Lobby last year when they were half off, so they were like $3 or $4. Take your stained flower sack cloth, but you can use whatever fabric you want. Basically, we're going to make a little background for our wreath. I'm going to take one of my favorite stamps, and this is linked to my Amazon store. Y'all, I love these little birds and have made so many things with these, and these are very affordable. But I'm going to use some black ink and an ink pad, and then I'm just going to apply my little birds to the flower sack cloth. First, you want to measure out where you need to go down with your stamp so it'll be in the center of your wreath, and I did that. I just put my flower sack cloth, put my wreath over it, and just kind of marked it where my birds would need to go back down just so they'll be centered up. Now I'm going to apply them, and when you apply stamps, you want to hold them down in the center so they don't, you know, wobble back and forth, so you'll get a good, smooth, you know, where it'll adhere really well to the fabric. Now let that dry, and once it's dry, now I'm going to go around with some hot glue, and I'm going to apply it to the back of the wreath. And I'm just going to set the wreath down, and you'll also want to make sure you pull it tight on the back just to make sure, you know, it's pulled out really good and it looks really smooth. And then we'll add a little bow to this and add a little velvet hanger. And I got this velvet ribbon. It's also in my Amazon store, but it makes great velvet ribbon to make hangers and just some little bows, and you know, just adds a little bit of embellishment to your projects. But that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to tie it to the top, and that's how I'll tie it, and add the bow at the bottom. And now we got a great little cute little wreath. That was so easy and fun to make. And now we can set this out for spring and summertime.
Like I found my home. A little bit of worry that I'm late. Rendezvous with fate when I'm on my own. I'm walking on this hill of mine, just gotta get past it. I see the lights, they're on so bright, and find my way to you. It's like I'm Emmy Lou and you are Graham. We're living the high life. From Waterloo to Amsterdam, we'll be in little heaven. And if I could dream about that love, roll the dice and we'll go to paradise. Little heaven, gotta dream of it while you can. Roll the dice and we'll go to.
You can get these at the dollar store. You can get them at Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and sometimes you can pick them up at Walmart in the craft center. First thing I did to my little plaque was I applied some chalk paint. You always want to start out with a white background when using decoupage paper. I have really been enjoying decoupage paper and using it on my projects. So I'm going to leave a link down below at a website where I get a lot of mine, and they have a huge selection. I love to order up a bunch and keep it on hand for my projects. I just roll over it with a brayer. I use DIY Liquid Patina to apply it, but you can also use Mod Podge. Once it dried, I just went around the edges with a sanding block and also an emery board just to get in those little nooks and crannies. Once I got it smoothed out on the edges, now I'm going to fill up those little holes with some decorative thumbtacks. I'm just going to apply those in those holes using some hot glue just to make it look like a plaque. But you could also put ribbon through it, and I'm going to show you both ways when I go to style it. My good friend just gave me a goodie basket. So I took the goodies out of it, and now I love this basket. And I think it pairs so good with this little plaque I just made. So I'm going to apply it to the front using a little hot glue. Next project is going to be a fun one, and I'm trying to use up supplies that I already have on hand and not go out and buy anything. So I'm going to take this cereal box that we were going to throw in the trash. It's a family size one. Now I got the inspiration to do this off of Instagram, and the name of the Instagram account is Mother Thyme, and I'm going to leave a link to her information down below. But she made one and covered the entire cereal box, and she says she used 8 rolls of the nautical rope from Dollar Tree. Since I'm using what I have on hand, I had some of this wider nautical rope. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, so I'm going to apply it around the bottom. Now when I went around the bottom, I put hot glue around the whole bottom just to get my bottom started and get it secured really well. And then as you work your way around the box, just apply hot glue as you need it. Now I did go around the back of my box, but at the end I had to go back and take some of those off so I could get more of the front covered. Because like I say, I'm trying to get by with what I have on hand. And I needed some more, but I did not want to go out and buy more. So I'm just going to make a smaller basket. But if you do want to cover the whole box, I think, like I say, I think she says she used 8 of the rolls from Dollar Tree. And that covered a family size cereal box. And this is going to make a really pretty straw basket. So we can make something, you know, out of a cereal box that we were going to throw in the trash. Now once I used all my nautical rope, now it's time I'm going to have to cut the top of the box off. And I'm just using my little razor blade with the handle, and I have this linked in my Amazon store. It's a great little tool to work on your projects. So once I went around and kind of scored it and got it cut, I'm just going to take that part off, and now I've got my basket complete. Now this little basket turned out so cute. Now I had enough nautical rope that I can add some little handles. So I'm going to add a couple little handles to mine. The first one I glued on the inside, and this one I'm going to glue on the outside. But you could definitely, if you can show the back of your basket, you can definitely put the handle on the outside on the other side also. Now there is so many ways that you can decorate this little basket. Now we can set it out, put florals in it. You can actually use this little basket all year long and just change it out for the seasons. A really inexpensive decor piece that you can get for your home and decorate with is wicker baskets. Now I think we all love baskets, and they are so functional also to store things in throughout your home. But you know, a lot of times we have them on hand, or you can pick them up at the thrift store in yard sales. Very inexpensive. I got this one at Goodwill and I paid $1.99 for it. I love the shape and the handle on this one, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh it with a little bit of white spray paint. I went around it and gave it a couple of coats, and now we've got a beautiful basket that we can set out for spring and summer. You can add your greenery to this, your florals, so many things you can do by just adding a very inexpensive basket and adding some decor to it. Another project piece that I've really been having fun with, and y'all know in my last few videos, I've given y'all lots of ideas of what you can do with these little Dollar Tree trays. I bought a bunch of them for my daughter's wedding, and we didn't use them. So I spray paint them white, and a lot of times these make great decoupage paper projects. Get your decoupage paper out, and I also showed one where you could put a mesh stencil on them in last week's video, and I'll have those videos linked down below and also in a pinned comment. But I just traced around the inside where I want my decoupage paper to go, so I'll have a good pattern to cut around it. So I'm going to cut off the excess paper and place it in the center. Now this right here would make a great tray. You could also put some little feet on it and kind of make it as a really pretty little riser. But I thought this decoupage paper was absolutely beautiful for spring because those florals are so bright and so pretty. So I just applied it using some DIY Liquid Patina. And then I'm going to go over it and roll out all the wrinkles with my brayer. And now we've got a great piece that we can put now in our baskets, and we can set out in all of our spring and summer vignettes. Another decor piece that I found at Goodwill was this very large hang tag. Now I love this side that says Faith. What a great reminder. And I think I paid $2.99 for this. I'm just going to go over the back of this. I'm going to use it for my project. And I'm just going to go over it with a couple of coats of white chalk paint. I only did one coat because we're doing decoupage paper. So you really don't have to do 2 coats. You just really want a white background. Now again, I'm going to leave the website for this decoupage paper that I'm using in today's video down below. But I got this piece and she is absolutely beautiful. I love vintage ladies. So I'm going to put her at the bottom. And I'm going to show you how you can take one really inexpensive piece of decoupage paper and make it work on a larger project to make it fit. I'm going to take the lady and put her at the bottom, and then I'm going to take the remainder of this decoupage paper. I'm going to tear it off really easily and very carefully, and then we're going to put it at the top. And now you will have a little seam through the middle, but it's not going to be noticeable, but you can always cover that up with, embellishments. And in my case, I'm going to add a transfer. I'm going to put a little French wording down there, and it just kind of takes away from it. But if your colors match up on your decoupage paper, you may not even be able to notice a seam in the middle. So again, I'm just using Liquid Patina, but you could always use Mod Podge. And then I go over it with my brayer and I smooth it out really well. And once it dries, just go around your edges, smooth off the excess paper using a piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to poke back through that hole, and I'm going to work that decoupage paper down around that little circle. And now we've got a great little hang tag that we can hang, on our baskets, our wreaths. You can just hang this throughout your home. And if you got a little shabby chic, or just like if you've got a boutique top closet or something, this makes a great piece that you can put on your vanity. Now, I love to do 3D projects, and 3D means we're just going to make it look a little more realistic and put another layer on it. And this is the fun part. We're going to add embellishments. So I'm going to put a flower in her hair, and I'm also going to give her a pearl necklace. These are just little things that I already had on hand, and then I'm just going to take this little strand of pearls. These, I think, come from Hobby Lobby. It's like pearl ribbon. I'm going to cut a strand that's, large enough to make her a little necklace. And with just little dabs of hot glue, I'm going to tack that around her neck. Now we've just gave her a little bit of a 3D look. And it's always the littlest details that will make the hugest impact on your decor pieces. Now, if you have followed my channel for very long, y'all know I love rabbits all year long, and I decorate with rabbits all year long. Well, I've had so much fun getting little, really pretty little rabbit graphics off of Etsy. And you can find little Etsy shops that have these little downloads. You just purchase them, and I think these were like $3, and you got 4 different styles of rabbits. But they send them to your computer, to your email, and then you can just download them onto your computer and print them out as many times as you want to, and you can resize them. And that's what I did with these. And I'm just going to make some cute little inexpensive hang tags. You just want to attach them using some school glue on a piece of poster board. I poke a hole in the top, add a little bit of ribbon, and now you can add these to your florals, you know, your baskets. It just adds just another little cute detail for your spring and your summer vignettes. Just to give you more options for these cute little rabbit downloads that I got at Etsy, I also added them to a frame. So many options. Once you purchase the little downloads off Etsy, you can do so many things with them. The next few projects are going to be inspired by my friend Emma. She sent me a pack of assorted napkins. So the next few projects, I'm going to give y'all lots of ideas and inspiration of things we can do with decoupage napkins. Now the projects that I'm going to work on and use the napkins on are going to be some things that I already have on hand. I'm not going to purchase anything new, but if you do want to get some of these items, they can easily be purchased from a dollar store, or you can thrift them, or some of them are going to be free. We may already have them around our house. And as you can see, the little hang tag that I'm working on in this project was from Dollar General, and it was only $1. I just chalk painted it, gave it 1 layer, and you always want to pull all the sheets of your napkin apart until you get the one that has the design on it. A lot of napkins will be 2-ply or 3-ply, but just pull those sheets apart, and I'll show you that in just a minute. I'm going to apply all of my napkins in today's video using DIY Liquid Patina, but you could also use Mod Podge or any decoupage medium that you prefer. Once it dries, you just go around the edges and you just sand them off to remove any excess paper. Now this makes a beautiful little hang tag. You just go through with a little pencil and you poke back through the hole. You can add ribbons to it and attach this to wreaths. You can put this on baskets. Just a really pretty embellishment that you can, you know, hang on things for the spring and the summertime. I've got another one of those hang tags that I got at Dollar General, so I'm going to do the same thing to it. I painted it white with some chalk paint, and you can see this is what it was on the other side, so later on I can always use the other side if I want to. Now I removed the other sheets of the napkin. They usually pull apart really easy. Just be really careful because these napkins, they're like tissue paper, so they're kind of fragile, and that's what you want to do when you're applying them to your project. Just be very gentle with them and be careful with them with your paintbrush, and even if you go over them with a brayer. Now just depending on what kind of texture of project you have, some of these you can roll over with a brayer and smooth out any wrinkles or bubbles. It just depends. The next project, I'm going to use a round blank. Now, I'm sure you can pick these up at any craft store and probably Hobby Lobby for sure. But I got mine in a scrapbook kit a couple of years ago at a yard sale, and I paid a couple of dollars for the whole kit, and I think I got 6 of these rounds in it. So a very inexpensive project piece. I painted it with white chalk paint because when you add any kind of decoupage paper, or in this case napkins, you want a white background to really make your design pop, and none of your background on your project will show through. Now I'm just going to use my Liquid Patina. I'm going to work in sections, and then I'm going to go over the top of it and seal it down really well. And like I've told y'all, just be real careful when you're applying your napkin. Just gently brush it so you don't tear your paper. Now again, once your decoupage medium dries really good, just go around with a sanding block or a piece of sandpaper, sand off the excess paper and smooth out your edges. I just went through, poked the hole back through using a pencil, and now you can add a pretty bow to it. And once you get your hang tag embellished, now it's ready. You can just set this out in your vignettes, or this would be a great piece to add to gift bags. If you got a gift you're going to give to someone special, this right here just adds a special touch. Okay, y'all, are y'all enjoying decoupage so far? I know I am. I spent a whole day just having fun with these napkins and designing projects using them. And like I say, these are so budget friendly to do, and it's so easy. Once you get started, I don't think you'll be able to quit. Now I'm going to take this beautiful napkin. I thought this was absolutely gorgeous. And I don't know where Emma got her napkins from, but let me tell you, she has a great source, because these are some of the prettiest napkins I've ever seen. Now I got this little whitewashed plaque at Walmart in the craft center, and I think it was like $2 or $3. But you can also, I've seen these at Dollar General in their craft center. But again, I'm just going to add this in sections. I'm going to apply this to this little board, but just giving you ideas of things that you may already have on hand, or things that you can maybe find at the dollar store that will be very inexpensive, but you can make some really pretty decor out of them by just using some really pretty napkins. Now, to speed up the drying time for your decoupage medium, you can use a blow dryer or a heat gun. I attached some ribbons to this. I tied it on a wreath that I have in my bedroom. I also have this wreath linked to my Amazon store, and I'm going to link it down below. This wreath right here I leave out all year long, so if you are looking for a beautiful wreath, I highly recommend this one. Now using a little wood plaque blank. This you can get at Dollar General or Dollar Tree, and I've already put something on the other side, but like I've always told y'all, if you've got a project that's got two sides to it, I love to embellish both sides. You can always flip them over. Now this is a beautiful bunny napkin, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to make two projects out of this. I'm not going to waste the bunny on the end. I'm going to find something to put him on. He is too cute to not use him. Now, like I told y'all, you go around and seal your edges really well just to make sure your paper doesn't come back up. And once it dried really well, I took a piece of sandpaper and I went around all the edges and I sanded them off really well. Now I'm just going to add a couple of pieces of ribbon to the sides of these just to make a hanger, and I'm going to hang this on a wreath. Okay, now let's work on that little bunny that we had left over. I'm just going to take a piece of scrap wood. This is just a piece of a 2x4. Y'all, I always have scrap wood laying around, so just a 2x4 piece of wood. I'm going to chalk paint it on all the sides and on the front. And now I'm going to just cut my little bunny off. While this project, the previous project was drying, I just cut my bunny off. And he had a little rip in his face, but I'm going to fix it as I apply him. And like I told y'all, working with napkins, they're fragile, so you have to be really careful. But they're also pretty user-friendly. So if you rip your paper by accident or something, you can always go back and fix it, or just put a little piece of tissue paper or napkin in that spot where you may have tore it, and you can just decoupage that down, and a lot of times you'll never know. So a lot of times these napkins, even though they're fragile, they're pretty user-friendly. Now this project is going to be a little piece of scrapbook paper, because in my things that Emma sent me, she sent me some little scrapbook paper squares, and I'm sure she probably got those at Hobby Lobby, but if not, I know Hobby Lobby sells a huge selection of scrapbook paper, and a lot of times if you go on half price week, you can get it very inexpensive. So this is a little piece that was so cute. It had some little bunnies on it and some lavender, and I'm going to apply it to this little plaque. And I did a project, a video using this plaque, I think last year. But I'm just applying this little piece of scrapbook paper to my plaque. And you always, when you use scrapbook paper, it's a little bit of a thicker texture. So you want to put your decoupage medium on your project base and also put it on your scrapbook paper on the back of it, and it will apply a whole lot better. I just rolled it out using my brayer. I added some little decorative thumbtacks in the holes just to make it look like a little plaque, and I tied it on a pretty basket that I have. Next project is going to be a thrifted piece. Now I thrifted this a while back at Goodwill, and I paid $1.99 for it. As you can see, it come from Marshall's and it was $4.99. I loved working on hearts, and this one right here I thought was so pretty, and I was going to do something with it around Valentine's, but I just never got around to it. But I thought this would be a perfect project piece for this beautiful floral napkin. This is a whole sheet, y'all. Beautiful florals. I love this. And randomly throughout the napkin, it's got a few little gold hearts and some gold keys. So as you'll see in just a minute, I positioned the napkin on the heart to where it got that gold heart right in the center. So I applied it to the heart using my DIY Liquid Patina, and then I'm going to roll over it very gently with my brayer. I let it dry, and then I'll go around it with my sandpaper and sand the edges. Now I'm going to make a couple more projects using that beautiful floral napkin. This sheet right here, we can do so many projects with it. Now I got these little blocks a while back at Goodwill, and I paid 99 cents each for them. I had a video previously that I did some other projects with these using some other decoupage paper. But I had a couple of these little blocks left over, and I just painted it white, and then I'm going to go over it and apply this napkin. And again, I'm going to center another one of those little gold hearts right in the center. I'm going to let this dry, sand it off, and now we got a great little shelf sitter that we can set out for spring and summertime. Now here's another idea using that beautiful paper. This is like a little guacamole sign that I got at Goodwill, and I paid 99 cents for it. I just removed that little soda tab that they'd use for a hanger, which that was very innovative. And again, I'll just go over it with a quick coat of white chalk paint, and then I'm going to apply the paper using my decoupage medium, and then I'm going to work in sections. I'll go over the top, seal it in really good, let it dry, and then we're going to sand it. Now I used my brayer on this piece. It worked really well, and it'll smooth out any wrinkles or bubbles that you may have. Now this, I'm just going to leave the sides that pretty green that, you know, the front of it was, and I think it pairs really well with the green in the napkin. Now I am going to get Ben to help me with this. I'm going to get him to drill a hole in the top, and then I'm just going to add a little twine hanger, and now it's ready for me to hang or set out in my vignettes. And if y'all watched my channel for very long, or if you're new here, I'm going to let y'all know I don't waste anything. If we can use it, I'm gonna try to give y'all an idea for it. This is the one of the sheets that I pulled off of that floral napkin. The dye from the florals was so bright that it bled through to that other sheet that was underneath. So I thought it was so pretty with those muted pinks and greens. And I thought, well, I'm going to apply it to another one of these little blocks that I have and see what it looks like. Well, I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. It looks really shabby chic with its little muted and pinks. And I just, went around it. I sanded it down really good around the edges and gave it a distressed look. And now look, what I was going to throw in the trash, I think, turned out to be such a pretty piece. So just get creative with the things that you have. And like I say, I'm using things that I have on hand and things that probably I would have threw in the trash. And look what we just created. Now this project could be a trash to treasure. If you got an old coffee can or an old paint can, don't throw those away. We can use those and make decor out of them. I've done lots of projects using these. Just to save some time, I took this outside and I gave it a couple of layers of spray paint. I used some Rust-Oleum flat white, and also I used some that was inexpensive from Walmart. So just use whatever white spray paint you have. Give it a couple of coats. Take it back inside, and now we're going to make a beautiful vase out of this can. We can add greenery and florals to this, and it's going to be so pretty. But I'm going to take this beautiful napkin that Emma sent. This one has got pears all over it, and I told y'all, Emma knows my style. She has been watching my videos. Bless her heart. So I'm going to trim this down to where it will go around the rim of my can and fit the best. And once I get it trimmed down, then I'm just going to apply it using my liquid patina, and I'm going to go around the can, and I'm going to work in sections. And like I've told y'all, be very careful. Just kind of go over it very gently with your brush. Get it worked in if your can has grooves like mine. And I'm just trying to get it worked in. And I'm going to work in sections as I go. Do one section at a time until I get it all the way around the can. Now, my strip of napkin will not fit all the way around my can, but I'll show you in just a minute how we can piece it together. We'll kind of trim it down, piece it together, and then that way we will have the design all the way around the can. Applying this around this can in this big section, the best technique that I found with my brush was just go over it very gently so you don't tear your napkin, and also kind of pat it. Doing this, that will avoid getting any rips in it, and it applied really well actually. Now I had to get creative to place my other strip of napkin, because the way this design is, you didn't want two Eiffel Towers right next to each other. So I'm trying to trim down one of the Eiffel Towers to where it will finish out the one that I already have on the can, and then I'm kind of folding this back, and I'm going to make a line to where I'll know where to cut the other side, and then I'll place it in that section, and then we'll finish out, the napkin on the can. And that's the best way that I come up with. This will probably be the back of my can, so I'll just turn this one around since it's not the prettiest side, but the front of it is absolutely beautiful, and I love the way this turned out. Once this dried and I styled it with my greenery, I thought, oh yes, like I say, don't ever throw away those empty coffee cans or those paint cans, because y'all, we can make some great decor just using some napkins and some decoupage medium. We can go to town and make some beautiful decor. The next project is going to be free for me because this is another piece of scrap wood. This is just the top off of a wood fence, and I painted it black. I'm sure I used it for another project at some point, but I'm just going to put a layer of white chalk paint over it, and then we're going to use this beautiful lavender napkin. Also, this is one of the prettiest napkins I've ever seen, and I love lavender, especially in the springtime. It just screams spring to me. But I'm going to apply it to this little fence, and then I'm just going to go over it with my blow dryer. And a lot of times, if you apply heat to let your decoupage medium dry. Sometimes it really works out some of those little wrinkles and bubbles that you may have. Because once that heat hits it, it kind of makes it kind of flatten out and adhere to your base a lot better. So then I'm just going to go around my sandpaper, sand down my edges, and I think this made a beautiful wood tag that we can add to you know, just anything like our baskets, whatever we have on hand. I got Ben to drill a hole in the top. I'm going to add a ribbon to it, and I'm going to add it to this beautiful basket, and I added some really pretty lavender sprigs. I want to show y'all another little mirror that I picked up at the thrift store, and I love to pick up smalls, but this could be an idea for any size mirror. This one is small and I paid 59 cents for it. Now instead of painting the mirror side, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to paint the back side of the mirror, and I'm also going to paint the little wood frame. Now I'm just going to go over it with a couple of coats of white linen chalk paint. Once it dries, I'm going to go in with a little rabbit, and this is a piece of a decoupage paper that I had left over. It had a lot of little rabbit graphics on it, so he was left over from that. I already had him cut out, and I thought he would work really well on the size of this little mirror. I'm just going to apply him using some DIY Liquid Patina. I'll put this back in the frame, and this is how easy it was to upcycle a small little mirror. You know, like I say, you can use this little idea on any size mirror. You're my heart's desire. I also want to add the tray and the beads will be linked in my Amazon store. Till we grow old, please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. The next project is going to be another thrifted piece, and I'm just going through my things that I already have on hand that I've picked up, and I always have pieces like this on hand. As you can see, this was a piece from Hobby Lobby. The original price on this was almost $80, but I picked it up at the thrift store, and I think I paid $2.99 for it or $3.99. But I'm going to take the inside of it. Somebody had covered a mat with, I think, a pillowcase. I'm going to remove that and just throw that away. Now I'm going to go over the glass. I cleaned it really good first, and then I'm going to go over it using some Rust-Oleum flat spray paint, but you can use any kind of white or colored spray paint that you want. Once I got that covered and it dried, I brought it back inside, and now I'm going to do an equal part water, equal part milk paint. I did 3 tablespoons of each. So I'm just going to mix that up, and the consistency of milk paint, you want it to be kind of like a melted milkshake. Now once I got that stirred up, I'm going to apply that to the outside of my frame because I want a really rustic and chippy look. Now I give it a good coat. I went all the way around, and the secret to milk paint is you want to apply heat to it. If you have a heat gun or a blow dryer, put that on there and you will see the crackling and the distressing happening right before your very eyes. Now you can do the drying method on the first coat or your last coat, but it will get your paint off and you can get as much distressing as you desire. A lot of times you'll get a lot of distressing. So if you don't want that, you'll have to go back in, maybe add a little chalk paint just to fill in those areas. Once I got the distressing the way I wanted it, I went around the whole mirror and I cleaned it up. I used my little razor blade to remove any paint, and then I went over it with some window cleaner and I cleaned it up really well. Now this is what the mirror looks like, and if y'all have never used milk paint, I think you'll be very happy with it because it gives you such chippy results. And I'm going to leave a link to the milk paint that I used down below. Now once I got my frame the way I wanted it, now I'm going to go in with a transfer. Now these transfers are about to be discontinued, so this is why I kind of wanted to bring along this project to y'all, because I've already purchased this last year, but you get a pack, I think, of 3 or 4 transfers. They're absolutely beautiful in this package, and this is one of them. But I'm going to leave a link to these transfers down below, and they're also listed in my Amazon store. So if you want these, now is the time to get them before they get discontinued and we can no longer buy them.
I don't know what I'd do without you. You make me smile. What is it that you do?
I'm just going to share with y'all some unique styling ideas of things you may have around your home or at the thrift, or you find at the thrift store. I found this beautiful white crackled bowl, and it was $2.99, and I think I got it on half price day. But another thing that you can do with beautiful white dishes when you find them out is you can use them for decor pieces. You can decorate them with vintage books and vintage items and set them out in your vignettes, and they add such a great different kind of character and texture to your vignettes for spring and summer. A couple of more decor pieces that I've had in my stash since last year were these two. I guess these are ducks, and I got these last year at the thrift store. They are not anything that is valuable. I think they're like telefloral. They used to have, the florist put flowers in them. All I did was I painted them white, refreshed them, and now I'm just going to give you some styling ideas of how you can add little pieces of greenery and florals to them and just set these out. And I think these are absolutely beautiful for the spring and the summertime.
You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire. I just want you, I just need you. I don't know what it is you do. I just want you, I just need you. I don't know what it is you do. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world.
I also want to add here that this little chippy swan is also listed in my Amazon store. Next item is going to be a dollar store project, but this was my inspiration. This was on Pinterest, and I thought, you know what? I think I have all the supplies to make this, and it was very easy to make. So I'm going to share with you real quick of how I made this. I'm going to use a piece of garland that I got at Hobby Lobby, and if you go on half price week, you can always get this half price. It's one of my favorite garlands. I'm using a little grapevine wreath that I got at Dollar General, and it was $3, but you can also pick these up at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take pieces of my garland because you want this wreath to be a little bit wispy, and you want to be able to see some of the grapevine wreath up under it, so you don't want to put it on really thick. So I just kind of cut pieces. I went around it, and where I needed to, I just added it with wire. You could also hot glue it on if you wanted to, but I did not want to damage my wreath or my greenery. Now I just worked my way all the way around the wreath until I got it covered and I got the desired amount of greenery on it. Now a lot of these grapevine wreaths, they already have wire around them that holds the grapevine together. So that was a great component for me to stick this greenery up under it and just hold it in place. So once I got all the way around it, then I'll secure all the greenery on it really well, kind of shape it out, and then I'm going to add a little bird nest. Now I had a little nest already on hand. I added just a little bit of Spanish moss to it, and you'll want to add a few eggs and attach that to your wreath. And this wreath was that easy to make. So I'm going to show you some styling tips and give you some ideas of something that I feel like a lot of us have, because these are very popular at the thrift store, and you may already have some of these in your decor at home. I picked this one up for $1, but it's just a silver plated tray. But just to give you more ideas, you can add some lace to these or a hanger. Hang these on the wall and add vintage pictures to them. You can add vintage postcards. Just decorate it any way you want to. So just another idea for silver plated trays that you may have on hand. Hang those on the wall and add a decorative touch to your home. You can also use some solo wood flowers and some vintage items to, display in your home. And I'm going to have a link down below if you're interested in solo wood flowers. If you do not have any of these on hand for your projects, I highly recommend these. I have used these on so many projects, and they are such great pieces to use in your decor. Another quick styling tip for some silver plated items that you may have on hand, and these, like I say, along with the trays, these pictures are a lot of times you can find these in the thrift store. But take your thrifted or your picture, if you have one on hand, get some Kleenex out of the box. I just grabbed a section of them, wrap them, roll them around, and have them where when you pull one up, the next one comes up. Stick those down in your picture, and now you've got a great little decor piece that you can style your Kleenex and tissues at home. Okay, y'all, that is going to wrap up the video, but I hope y'all enjoyed it. That was a lot of DIY projects and thrifted finds that I tried to turn into some beautiful home decor and give y'all some inspiration and ideas of things that you can flip and make into beautiful spring decor for your home. As always, I love y'all, and I will plan to see y'all again in my next video. Until then, I hope y'all have a great week.